might be the Jackie of all trades, but trust and believe I have mastered.
Welcome to another edition of Off the Clock, the Healthcare Entrepreneurs Podcast. As always, I am your co-host, Mr. Karl Jr., and I'm joined by my main man, Mr. Paulo Ching. Paul, say what's up to the people.
What's up, y'all? And what's up to everybody in YouTube land as well. We never give y'all enough love. What up?
We don't.
Shout out to y'all, though.
As always, you guys know we love to bring you amazing guests that just pour a lot of value, show you to be able how to get your side hustle off the ground, build your own brand, your own business, whatever you have in mind, we help you bring it to life. So this episode is no exception. Very excited about this episode, actually, because we have a certified lady boss in the building that's going to drop some fire. Really excited for this episode. We have the creator of the B Firm PR public relations, an author as well, and just an overall boss that's going to show you guys some really good information that's going to help you be able to apply it to your businesses and your brands. And without further ado, I do want to go ahead and introduce Erica. Erica, how are you feeling? Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I am doing phenomenal. So, yeah.
Of course. So just to kind of hop into it, because we want to be respectful of your time. You wear a lot of hats. I think you're essentially like a jack of all trades. You got your hands in a lot of different things. So with that being said, how would you kind of define the field you're in, and how would you kind of define yourself in terms of everything that embodies who you are?
So that term, jack of all trades or Jackie of all trades, I usually like to remind people that I might be the Jackie of all trades, but trust and believe I have mastered 3 of those, So whatever it is that you guys see me doing out there, I definitely have mastered, executed, profited off of maybe 3 of those, So I want to lead with that, because I feel like you can't be the jack of all trades or the Jackie of all trades and not master none, right? And for me, currently, I am the co-founder of the B Firm PR, which is a PR firm that I started alongside my sister, Ashley Jernigan. We have an office in Montgomery, Alabama, Atlanta, and California, where we're from. Shout out to the Bay Area. We're from the Bay Area. And I am a publicist. So my job, in a nutshell, is to curate the narrative being told to the media, to the public, about my clients. I, along with my sister and our team, we curate the narrative that you guys see in the media about different people that we represent. So our job is to make sure that, that they are highlighted in the best manner possible. I'm not Olivia Pope. I'm not hiding kids, hiding girlfriends, none of that. I keep it fun. I keep it friendly. I keep it just, good vibes, good energy. If the vibe is off, we are off. Anybody who inquires to even be represented by us is not always necessarily qualified to be represented by us. We are very selective, just because we can be. And my sister and I, were very clear in the beginning of when we started our firm that every client that we represent, they have to be aligned with our core values. It was never about the money, because we know how to make money. We've had amazing, careers in our, time. However, when we stepped off into the entrepreneurial sector, it was very important that we led with integrity, our core values, and we stuck to, what we believed in, and were willing to walk away from anything that wasn't aligned with that. So I don't know if that was like explained it, but yeah, I'm a
I
publicist.
mean, yeah, it did. I especially love that you highlighted. It's absolutely no use if you're like a jackie of all trades, but you're a master of none, right?
You're
That does you. You got to be good at something.
something, right?
You got to be
Right?
good at something.
Yeah.
Let me ask this.
Mhm.
So because you mentioned that you and your sister co-founded the B Firm PR. What was the
Yes.
inspiration behind that? What even got y'all to the point where you were like, this is something we need to do?
Yeah. So initially, I was killing it in not public relations, sorry, wardrobe styling for television and film. I started my journey at a very, very young age in the fashion and beauty industry. My grandmother was the one who was like my Thelma to my Louise, and she really, really was my like inspiration behind me having a career in the beauty industry, whether that was hair, cosmetology, fashion, beauty, makeup, those, that was our thing. And I was doing wardrobe styling for television shows, commercials, really excelling in that. And unfortunately, things kind of took a turn. My grandmother ended up passing away. And a month before she passed away, we were talking about coming to Atlanta, right? And the night of her service, I decided I was going to just step out on faith and, come to Atlanta. And I came here, and I didn't come here to, be this new person. I really came to just do some soul searching and figure out who I was outside of my family, outside of, my career that I was excelling in. And my family and I are extremely close. So just me kind of leaving them and just, going to uncharted territory, I kind of had to like reintroduce myself to who I was, if that makes sense. And my sister Ashley was killing it and still is killing it in public relations. And she was more in the political sector and hospitality sector. And then I was still doing wardrobe styling. But because of my grandmother not being here, the love and the passion for it not being as, just spot on as I really wanted it to be, I just started searching for other things. And my sister would allow me to work with her on certain PR campaigns. And, we were doing different things. And I really wasn't super like serious about it. I was just like, oh, this is interesting. Like, cause I honestly, not to be cocky or anything, but it was kind of easy for me, to like kind of connect people and, to tell, stories that were true and, that narrative storytelling and, making people want to buy into other people, that kind of came natural to me. And so, one day I was working on a television show that will remain nameless, but it was something that just wasn't elevating me. I would go on set and I would really feel drained. I don't know if you guys have ever been anywhere working in a situation where you're like, oh my God, I have to go here again. And it was that type of energy that I was receiving. And I just remember like the spirit talking to me and was like, it's time to just walk away, And I remember calling my sister and I was like, so this PR thing that you're doing, and she was like, yeah. I was like, so we need to make this a real business, because she was already doing it for a company and she was a corporate publicist. And so I'm like, we just need to start our own business. I said, I have the clients. I'm pretty sure I can get us some stuff, some work. Let's just start our own firm. And when I tell you, a weekend conversation of talking to my sister, shout out to her for believing in me. She agreed to start our own PR firm. She thought of the name. My job was to get the clients. My sister was not ready to 100% start, this entrepreneurial journey. I was, because I was so drained from being on this particular show. It was just a no-go for me. And I remember leaving that set and a person said, so what are you going to do now? And I said, you really don't know whose child of God I am. And honestly, I was kind of dumbing myself down even being here, and I walked away, stepped out on faith, and My sister had our business back office in order, and I was the one who, executed it with the clients. And um, that's really how we started. It was really from a need of me wanting more and me looking for that desire to be mentally challenged, by my work, do something that I love. I said, when I left that set, I said I would never be a part of any project or represent anybody or work with anybody that I 100% wasn't feeling good about. It didn't matter who it was or what it, how big the person was, celebrity wise, or what it was, because this was a really big show. But it did nothing for me mentally, spiritually, emotionally. It wasn't going to get me an Oscar. Then isn't that the goal? I mean, like, come on now. So I was just like, yeah, no, this isn't going to get me really anywhere. And I was there for a reason. I wasn't there for a lifetime. I was there for a reason. And once I really figured out what that was, God literally opened up other doors, and, PR just kind of clicked, and the rest was kind of history.
So Erica, with that being said, I think a recurring thing that we try to really instill in our listeners is just the fact that this whole entrepreneurial thing is not easy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it looks like gold and glitz and glam, but you gotta grind
Yeah.
to finally see some success.
Yeah.
So the question that I want to ask you, because you've had some amazing success, besides creating this, I saw we both saw, that you were in Huffington Post, Black Enterprise, those are very prestigious accolades. And so the question that I want to ask you, with all that being said, what do you think was the biggest lesson that you had to learn before you started actually seeing some success as an entrepreneur?
The biggest lesson was honestly patience, and faith. My faith was tested many times. Again, I was in Atlanta by myself, even though my sister did agree to help with the business. She didn't know what I was going through internally, mentally, spiritually, financially. Even starting my business, there was a point in time that I was living in a hotel. Nobody knew, because I knew how to do my hair, I knew how to do my makeup, I could wear all black, and still look presentable. But there was a time when I was living in a hotel, and I made it work. I did what I needed to do. And those were some of the lessons, like, as far as just like knowing that this road that I'm on, like, it's me and the big man upstairs. Like, it wasn't about my sister and us being business partner. It was an internal thing. I needed to figure out, like I said, who I was, in my faith, in this walk, in this journey of entrepreneurship, in this journey of faith, but being patient. I was like, how did I get to this hill? Like, who would have thought, and being patient. That has been the lesson for me, that has been my greatest reward, and just honestly, I mean, it might sound cliche, but just letting God do his thing. Like, I literally had to surrender. For me, that was my lowest, me being in a hotel. And it wasn't like I was at the Intercontinental. I was like at the extended stay, so for me, that was a low point for me. Thank God I had the little, I think it was what, $200 a night to even stay there. But like, my mom didn't know, my dad, my brothers and sisters didn't know. I knew that was something that I had to go through to come out of. And not, when I say go through, I mean actually grow through, not even go through, because I don't feel like I was going through anything. It was a growing thing, and so just being patient and being obedient, that was, to me, the biggest lesson.
I have a question for you, but first I just want to kind of like, it's a two-part thing. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, I love that, you know, you're sharing that point, because I know Karl and myself, I mean, obviously every entrepreneur, you know, has their story. They've had
Mhm.
to grow through something and overcome and like just become a different person, the person that's required to have the success that is coming your way, right? But I know that for some people, they tend to, and me myself included, they tend to like kind of experience this imposter syndrome, where it's like
Mm,
when you start seeing a ton of success, right? I know for myself, like I've experienced it where we're we're having so much success that I'm almost like, bro, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for all of this to like just stop being this great, right?
yeah,
One, if you've ever experienced that, do you mind sharing? And two, how could somebody dealing with that work through it and overcome it? What do they
yeah,
need to do to actually, you know, get to that next level?
yeah. So yeah, definitely. I experienced that when I wrote my first book. You know, me being a publicist, people, you know, put their own description of what that means for me, right? I'm supposed to be in all black. I'm supposed to be in the corner. I'm supposed to be, you know, just the beast while my clients are the beauty and whatever. And when I wrote my first book, I kind of was like, this isn't my book. I'm not in Barnes and Nobles. I'm not doing a book signing here. What do you mean? Like, who, where's Erica? You know, like it it was crazy that I had a journalist that writes for Essence moderating it. It was a sold out book, uh what are they calling, book tour? I don't know. It was a sold out event. You know, my books sold out that day at Barnes and Nobles, and I'm, you know, sitting across from people that are here to see me, you know, and I had to catch my breath. I had to breathe. I had to, you know, pump myself up. And people usually when they meet me, they see a confident woman, which I am. They see, you know, a black woman who, you know, whatever they read about me or heard or whatever the case is. They have their own, you know, perception, right? But that particular day, I was I was dealing with some like, okay, fear, you know, imposter syndrome type thing, to where I had to talk myself out of it. And I reminded myself, I was like, girl, you got this. Like, do you know who you are? You know whose granddaughter you are? You know how proud your grandmother would be? So for anybody who's dealing with that, I mean, that's what worked for me. I literally pumped myself up. I went in the mirror in the bathroom, took 6 deep breaths, and I talked to myself and I said, you deserve this. You know who you are, you know whose you are. And I knew, I just started thinking about, you know, God's grace and how far I had come, and like, wow, I'm really in Barnes and Nobles. Like, you know, so I just talked myself out of it. I don't know if that might work for other people, but that is what worked for me. I can speak of what worked for me. But yeah, that was what, you know, I did when I had that experience of imposter syndrome, you know. And I posted something even today talking about how, you know, women sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. Like, are we kind of let everybody else around us get the credit and it was really us? It's okay to say our podcast is the shit. Sorry, I don't, you know, if I can cuss, you know, but like we are the shit, you know, and yes, third time is a charm. Like, I like that type of stuff, you know, get it, boo. Like, that just is gonna pump me up. You guys winning is me winning. I just get excited, you know? So like, I just encourage people, pump yourself up, pat yourself on the back, even those small wins. That is a win. That is amazing. Like, we are going so much. And it's like, just to see you guys even here on this Zoom, I'm like, I'm just so proud of you guys. So, you know, like, pump yourself up. That's what I would say. Look at yourself in the mirror and remind yourself, you know, get dressed, get cute, you know, and yeah. That's
I
what I
love
have to
it.
do.
Facts. I like that energy. Man. Okay. So we just getting started. Question for you. So with everything that's been going on, you know, everything that you've been continuously progressing towards, and you know how they say with every level there's a new devil. How Walk us through, like, what does your process look like as far as goal setting? Like, once you accomplish something, how do you kind of take a step back and say, okay, I'm here, now this is where I need to go?
Mhm. So I'm very old school. I'm like, we'll write it down on my whiteboard. I have a vision board that is humongous. Okay. And I just add to it. And then I just, I don't never take anything away from the vision board. Even when I do accomplish it, I just kind of sit there and I'm like, wow, girl, you did that. Like, you know? And so I write down my goals. I know everybody's now, vision board on my iPhone. No, I am old school. I need to write it down. I need to see it. I will cut out magazine little clippings, inspirational words, pictures, visuals, whatever I need to keep, laser focused on it. And then I keep my vision board where I can see it, and then with my whiteboard, I write down my goals. If I'm trying to make $40,000 this month, this is what I need to do in order to get it, and it doesn't even necessarily come from me signing clients to my PR firm. It can come from, you know, my other revenue streams, but that's how I execute, my goals. And my sister, I have to give her credit because she don't be giving herself as much credit as she is. She's like borderline like a genius. And she literally will map out my whole like money plan, life plan. Is this aligned with your core value? Like, she will get me all the way together to where you don't even breathe unless it's on the plan. Like she's that, cross your T's, dot your I's. And that's why we work together as business partners, because I am more of the step out on faith, just, move to New York with $100. My sister's like, no, I need 100,000 before I leave to go anywhere, so we just work like that. But because of my sister being like that, that has really helped me with executing my goals. That helped me when I built my house, just different things that I wanted to do. I'm very much so into sticking to the plan of, bigger goals like that though.
So I gotta ask on the back end of that question that Karl actually asked. Um, let's talk business a little bit. Is that cool? All right, we're not gonna give away like trade secrets or anything like that. But let me just ask this question. So in the same way that you go through your goal setting,
Mm-hmm.
how have you set up your system so that like you can make sure that, let's say, your marketing is up to par, right? Like everything that you do, everything you put your hand in is fire. Like nothing is lacking the Erica touch. How do you create those systems so that happens?
Honestly, when people ask me stuff like that, like, it's not even like a secret or anything I can like say that is giving it away, because it literally just comes off the dome. Like, I don't plan out a marketing strategy. I am so intentional about my goals and about what I need my future to look like and what I want it to look like, that I can't afford to do anything else other than that. Like, I think, when I told you guys about me living in the hotel, that was enough for me to be like, oh yeah, I need to really get this shit together. Like, I can't afford to not have, my plan of action on point, and for me, that's my alarm clock. That's my marketing. Like, that is what it is for me. And I am very intentional about the people that I represent. I'm very intentional about the places that I go, and being intentional is my key word. It's Erica Intentional Diaz, because it has to make sense. And if it doesn't, then we keep it moving, so if you set your sight on these are the type of people I want to represent or I want to interview. What are you doing to put yourself in that room to interview those type of people? Or what are you doing to, help elevate you to that, direction? Like, I knew that if I wanted to charge $5,500 a month and up, I couldn't do PR for Love and Hip Hop. That isn't my clientele. I can't do events at Ray Ray's restaurant. I have to do them at Neiman Marcus. So I had to diversify it up. You can't, expect to be, just, like, you got to be intentional about your setting, about your, the type of clientele that I wanted to attract. I can't be out here looking like, as my grandmother say, glutton, and I'm gonna sign a client for 5,500. Like, it's not gonna happen.
So you just set me up perfectly for the next question. With that being said, you mentioned, and I think this is an element of being an entrepreneur that's so important, can't be stressed enough. Just that power of the mastermind and being able to put yourself, in the presence of people that can help elevate you. So speaking of being able to give yourself a seat at the table, let's talk a little bit about Erica's table of 20. What is this table of 20? How did it come into fruition? What is the goal behind it, and how do you see it growing?
Right. So I'm pretty sure you have been to a Sunday dinner, right? No? Yes? Shake heads? No? Okay. Sunday dinner or dinner with your friends, dinner with your family, whatever that may look like. It's always hopefully a vibe, right? People are talking about stuff they ain't got no business. They crying, laughing, drinking too much. They look good. Some people come in there looking crazy. Whatever it is, it's just a vibe, right? That's usually unforgettable. It's an experience. My grandmother was the one who used to put on these amazing family dinners, right? But we would have like the mayor come, and we would have like the garbage man come, or the mail lady, and we would have, whoever is in politics. Like, it was a diverse group of people, right? And I just remember my grandmother making everybody feel welcome, feel included. She didn't have a table of 20. She had more so like a table of 55. And, we would have a program. It was like just dope. And I would just remember being young. I think everybody calls it ear hustling, but I just used to love trying to sit at the adult table, like listening, like, oh my God, what? And just, just listening and just soaking up all this knowledge, and people will be dropping gems and all these different things. And I just was determined to always get a seat at the table, right? My little brother and sister, they would be playing, doing what they would be doing, but I would be at the adult table. Like, I need to be in this room. I need to be at this table. I need to be sitting next to my grandmother or to one of her smart friends too, because I know I'm gonna, get some gems, And I remember, just on my journey coming to Atlanta, I would get invited to events. And they were just kind of like the same thing. You ever been somewhere where it's like the same vibe, the same energy, and you're like, oh God, no, like again, and it's dry. People come with the person that they know or that they live with, and it's like, I thought you were here to network. I thought you were here to, or they just stay in their little comfort zone, or they get real cliquish. And I was tired of that, and I would get invited to some pretty, like, whatever people consider to be dope events. But I was just like, yeah, no, this isn't dope. Like, I didn't have to get dressed, for this. I said, you know what, I'm going to create my own thing. But because I can only entertain 20 was the magic number. And I said, I'm going to call it Erica's Table of 20. And so I wanted to bring people from all over, men and women, for us to connect impact, engage, inspire. It's not an empowerment. That word is so overused, I feel. It's not an empowerment luncheon. It's a experience. You know, you come, you literally never leave the same. I feel like, you know, I mean, I feel like it because when people come and they're always just like overwhelmed with like happiness, joy. They made some connection. They made a lifelong friend, or maybe new boo, or whatever it is, whatever the vibe of that room is for that table of 20 room. There's no program. Literally ask God before I started. I say, please give me the words to inspire, impact, and connect. And I let it flow wherever it's gonna go. And we do our thing. We eat, we look good, we smell good, we drink, and we have a good time. And I've met people from all over the world, literally. Like I've had people fly in from Nigeria, from Toronto, to like my Houston event, or to my Miami event, or to my San Francisco event. Like anybody, I just want to put a public service announcement, anybody can inquire about to my event. I don't hand select people and be like, hey, you should come, you should come, you should come. I post it, then you email my team. We go through everybody, and then we do select who gets to come, but it's almost like a any, mini, miny, mo type situation. It's not a, oh yeah, this person has, 5,000 followers, they can come. It's a vibe. It's an experience. That is, no event is like the other. But yeah, it was inspired by my grandmother. I birthed my book out of that. I birthed a candle line out of that. My floral business out of that. And yeah, that was really the inspiration, just wanting to elevate my event experience, and just who I connected with and who was sitting at my table. There wasn't a lot of men or even that I saw that looked like me doing exceptionally like quirky things. People were doing like vibes and stuff, which I'm not nobody's vibe, but like when you come to mine, you do have to get dressed up. I want you to feel like, oh yeah, I'm coming to something nice. It's at Neiman Marcus, so yeah, you might want to put on a button up. And it's just the vibe. So yeah, we just have a good time. And so this Saturday, actually, we're celebrating my 39th Erica's Table of 20. Yep.
I mean, okay, so I was about to be like, let me pull up. But no, for real.
You guys can come.
We'll talk. I will chat for real. Okay. So I want to ask you a question, just because I want to be able to help our listeners, right? We're really trying to help healthcare people become entrepreneurs. And so say somebody comes to you in healthcare, they're trying to be an entrepreneur, right? They're trying to put on an event, and they know that Eric Diaz is the go-to person, and they're like, here's the thing, money's no object. Here's a blank check, right? Like we're doing Coachella. Here's whatever. What I need to do is be able to give people the perfect experience, right? Or just have them come back, like leave knowing that they had a great old time, right? What are 3 things that you're going to be looking at just flat, right? I'm not talking about like specific to, what's the word? English, dang, a niche or whatever. But what are 3 things you're going to just look at every single scenario and say, okay, these are the 3 things that I'm going to be looking to make sure are available to me to make this event be the best that it can be?
For somebody else's event that's in the medical field?
Yeah.
So want to make sure that the ambiance, the vibe, when they come in, like, that it's warm, that it's fun, you know what I'm saying? Welcoming, that it's inviting, like you want to, like that people are approachable, or you have is like this or the greeter, stuff like that. Like make people want to connect, like make everybody feel included. You want to definitely make sure people feel included. You want to make sure that the space is inviting, and that everybody can somehow connect, right? And then I would say location too, maybe location.
Do you usually have like some go-to locations usually, or like when you're picking one out, what's that like?
Well, for mine, I end up getting Neiman Marcus to be one of our sponsors. So that is where I have been hosting my last 30 events. However, last two really, these last two I'm doing at event spaces, and then one was at an artery. So I whole art gallery concept I'm doing, and it's really inviting and it's really welcoming too. So I really love that vibe. The thing is with Marcus, and I'll just it because I don't care. Neiman Marcus was also a marketing tool that I use. Remember when I said earlier in the conversation, being intentional. You guys are in the medical field. Why wouldn't you do it at an elevated experience? Like, think of who's in the medical field, who might shop at this place, or who might, you want to put yourself in a room that, typically they wouldn't even think that you would do something at, or that can even be done there. When I started doing my events at Neiman Marcus, people were like, wait a minute, how did you put this on? Da, 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 da. They thought Neiman Marcus did the decor. They thought all these different types of things while I was on number 25. I was like, girl, you got to catch up. Like, what are you talking about? You worried about the wrong thing. Instead of, trying to really connect and be more authentic and build a natural connection, people were kind of worried about the wrong thing. So for me, the location at this point is really not even important, because people will literally buy tickets to come before I even announce where it's going to be, or who I'm honoring, or whatever the case may be. They just want to be a part of my experience, so. But for somebody else new to it and wanting to, break into that space of having those type of intimate gatherings or experiences and be able to connect, definitely like a location, right, that represents and that really you can kind of then also bring your flair to it. Because yes, I'm not a everyday Neiman Marcus shopper. However, I brought all African American, except one. I've worked with maybe two or three other nationalities, but all of them have been African American vendors that I've patronized, that have collaborated with me, that we were in the room. I've made sure that represented every single time I put on an Erica's table of 20. 90% of those events have been executed by myself and other African American, Black event planners, men and women. So I always make sure that we are thoroughly represented throughout Neiman Marcus. And we know they are not, yeah. So
I appreciate that. Facts. I don't walk in like,
that
this
was
is an Africans only event.
Yeah, that was me playing chess, not checkers,
Hey.
Like, I mean, it is what it is at this point,
Right.
I was more of an asset to them than they were more to me. I helped increase the Atlanta restaurant by 75% when I started executing things there. Look for strategic partnerships too, because at the end of the day, they need to be bringing added value to you. Neiman Marcus wasn't the little soft spot for me. I'm the secret sauce. I basically brought the experience to Neiman Marcus to where they started thinking about how they were doing things. To so much so to where other cities that have Neiman Marcus locations were like, oh wait, what's going on? Oh, you're Erica Diaz? Oh, okay. Like, to where I had to remind them, yeah, I am her, she is me. So and that was a lot.
Me and all the listeners are in awe right now. All right.
You know, You guys got to play chess, not checkers with
You gotta
it.
play chess, not
You
checkers.
you get what you negotiate, right? So that's also key too. You know, remember that before you go into these event spaces and you want to put on these events, and what's your call to action, you know, and then also uh you know what I just said earlier.
Okay. You know what? You just segued in a question I wanted to ask you because
Oh,
you talked about it a little bit. Segue queen, fam. I'm telling y'all, listeners, you guys are getting some heat today on this one. For real. Okay, so let me ask you the last question. We obviously know one of the things we've learned, especially through our entrepreneurship journey in our business, is that you got to be able to figure out how to partner up with people. That is
mm-hmm.
going to be the quickest way to get to wherever you want to get to. You know, this entrepreneurship thing is not. I mean, it's great to do it by yourself, but it's going to suck at some point. So, when you are looking for partners, for example, you know, you mentioned Neiman Marcus. Shout out to them. You know, they don't sponsor us, but you know, maybe they will after this. But exactly, intentional. When you're looking to partner up with people, right? I think a lot of people have this misconception that partnering up with people professionally is like making a friend on the playground in kindergarten, where you just walk up and you're like, "Hey, can you be my friend?" And y'all are
Mm-hmm.
just going to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that's detrimental to your business. So, what would you suggest when people are going to partner up with somebody else? They look for in a partner, or they look for, or what do you look for? Let me ask that, right? If they want to get the deep stuff, come on, they can call you and like email you and pay. All right, can't give them everything. But what do you look for in a partner that's able to make sure, like you say, you're the sauce, so is able to make sure that you can negotiate what you want and not have to give up what's part of your brand and what's part of you.
Yeah, yeah. So honestly, it goes back to kind of what I told you guys earlier about core values. You know, like when I'm looking for brands, is it a representation of me? Would I really wear that, use that, eat that, talk about that? You know, I don't care about the monetary part. It's like who is the owner of this brand, or who, you know, what do they represent? I'm a publicist, you know, at the end of the day too. So it's like, it has to be aligned with what I, you know, I really do believe in. I'm not going to put you in the gift bag just to put you in the gift bag at this juncture. And I'm being honest, I don't have to put nobody's stuff in my bags. The ticket sales alone pay for the event plus some, you know. So when I get sponsors who are monetary sponsors and you know, want to be a part of my event, I have turned down certain people because it wasn't aligned with the vision, you know. And when you're doing events at a Neiman Marcus or a Bloomingdale's, or you're doing them at, you know, a high-end restaurant or hotel, whatever you guys choose to do your events, make sure that it also is in taste with, you know, where you are. And be willing to say no to, you know, things that aren't aligned with it, because it just might not be a good fit, you know. So I'm looking for things that are visually, aesthetically appealing, you know, things that I would really have no problem talking about, even if I wasn't getting paid to do it, you know, things that I would represent or wear or use and patronize myself, you know. So when you see my gift boxes, and they're I just got done, you know, putting together the ones for this weekend for my event, it's all stuff that I would use, that I would either want my future husband to use. Like, everybody's getting something out of it. So, you know, the guys that are there, they're going to enjoy their gift bags. The women are going to enjoy theirs. And yeah, it's, you know, that's what you want to look for. Things that you would really represent, because you want it to be authentic. You know, who wants to have to fake it till you make it? Like, I'm not doing none of that. I'm sorry. I'm not me. I know people who do. However, that's just, I don't have that type of time, you know, to look for a sponsor just because you can pay the money. I can create my own product then, you know? So it's like, okay, no, I don't have to take your candle line because I really know how to do my own. Or I can partner with somebody and we can do a collaboration and then we can make money. And, you know, you just want to bring added value. I look for people too that I can also bring added value to. And I'm not looking for the quick fix. I'm looking for them to be on board for my my 12 city tour, you know, when I start back in 2021. And it's been a blessing that I've had some of the same sponsors start with me, you know, my 5th event up into now, this one being my 39th event, that have sponsored my Erica's Table of 20. So that, you know, I'm looking for longevity. I'm looking for people that I can grow with, that believe in the vision. Because some people act like they believe in the vision, but you know they really don't. And it's like, oh, you know, they'll be like, oh yeah, I've heard of you. Oh my God. And then I'll just call their bluff. So yeah, where did you read about me where? Oh, well, yeah, I saw you on Insta. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, no, you know, cause I'm not, no. Mm-mm. And me, I cut out the BS. Like, you don't have to be doing the cookie cutter BS with me. I'm going to give it to you, like, no chasers. So it's like, yeah, if this is a good fit, it is. If it's not, it's not, you know? So look for things that you would really represent, that, you know, make sense to you guys, that you can talk about, even if you know, weren't being paid to talk about it. That's what I would suggest. And it makes it more of a good long-term relationship too, because there's been sponsors that maybe couldn't be a monetary sponsor one month, but I said, oh no, still bring, you know, still give me your product, because again, they've been rocking and rolling with me. You know, I'm all about building adult strategic relationships. It's not about this whole, oh yeah, girl, let's try to be BFFs and go out. I'm like, girl, do you know my last name? Oh, I said, so do you want a consultation or a cocktail? Because us having a cocktail is one thing, but a consultation, you could click the link in my bio and pay $150 to talk to me for up to 45 minutes. You know, it's levels to it. So you just want to be clear on what people's intentions are. So with the sponsorship, think of it as, you know, a relationship. Treat them how you want to be treated.
I just knew this episode was gonna be fire. My God. We might have to charge for this one, Paul. We're gonna send you the split after it comes out though, Erica. Don't worry.
Okay, yes, I got you guys.
Nah, but seriously, this was amazing. You know, and it is exactly what we thought it was gonna be for the episode. Um, from the moment that we got you scheduled, we were looking forward to this one. So it's just great to finally be able to get it done, and great to be able to add the value that you provided, you know, for our listeners. So thank you for that. To our lovely listeners, there you have it. I told y'all she was a complete boss. Now you see it for yourself. The lovely Miss Erica Diaz. Erica, tell us though, for anyone who's listening for the first time, and or this is their first encounter with you and they're interested in getting in touch with you, what would be some contact info or some social media information that you would want to leave with them?
Yeah, so you guys feel free to follow me on the B Firm PR on Instagram. It's THE, B as in boy, F as in Frank, IRM PR. And you can feel free to also reach me on my personal Instagram, which is Erica Diaz, DIAS. The number's 1010 on Instagram. Please don't send me a DM. You can just email me and I will respond.
There we go. So again, Erica, can't thank you enough. This was amazing. Really, it was such a yeah, it was a pleasurable experience to say the least. And
Thank you.
yeah, just looking forward to, you know, continuing to stay in touch and see all the amazing things that you're going to do. So once again, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for coming on. To our lovely listeners, if you got some value from this episode, and there's no way you can be still listening to this and tell me you didn't get any value. Hit Erica up. Don't send her a DM though. Email her. Subscribe, comment, share, leave a 5-star review, all that good stuff. You know, we appreciate y'all. Paul, the shirts. Tell them about the shirts.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get off.
Oh yeah. Listeners, we say this a lot and y'all keep playing. But I'm serious. There's going to come a day when these shirts stop being free. Stop playing. Text us. Get your free shirt while it's still free. Because when that day comes, I promise you, if there's one thing about Karl and myself, we're not turning around. Once we say it's not free, it's not free. Y'all going to have to pay full price, and I will not blink. But because we love y'all, they're still free. Make sure to text the word shirt. That's the word SHIRT, shirt, to 321-384-6275. Again, that's 321-384-6275 to get your free shirt. You'll get some prompts. You'll get it ordered, and we'll get it sent out to you. As well, we got the black, we got the white, we got the gray. If you want to get a custom order, you can text us specifically, and we'll think about it. But other than that, make sure to get it while it's still free, because once it's not, it's not.
There you go. With that being said, until next time, y'all. Peace. Many blessings.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Off the Clock. This episode was brought to you by the Accepted System. The Accepted System is a program that helps pre-physical therapy students get into physical therapy school without wasting time or money. Most pre-PT students go on to spend hundreds of dollars applying to multiple DPT programs, with the majority of them having less than 40% confidence that they will actually get accepted that cycle. You have been taught that regardless of all the work you put into applying, you really do not have much control over your acceptance into PT school. The truth is, you actually do. You can find help at www.preptgrindotc.com. This episode was also brought to you by Physio Memes. Physio Memes helps PT businesses to increase their referrals through word-of-mouth marketing by growing their brand with an online store. Physio Memes. Thank you for listening. Don't be shy to leave a review and subscribe to the podcast. See you next episode.